What is up, gamers? The Red Dragon here. Hope you are doing well. Today we are going to tackle the Xbox Lockhart. What is it? Why does it exist? And will it hold back the Series X? And is it smart for Microsoft to release two consoles around the same time while bragging about 12 teraflops on one system and power, but targeting apparently 4 teraflops on another system, and then claiming that both are going to be next generation? And I'll also tell you why it's going to be more popular and outsell the Xbox Series X. Hey, if you like this video, I hope you take a second, hit that like button and share it. And if you don't like it, hey, that's okay too. Just explain in the comments why you think what I'm saying is wrong. Where do you disagree? Always love to hear your opinions. Back at E3 2018, Phil Spencer ended Microsoft's conference by saying they were deep into designing the next Xbox consoles. And he used S as in plural, meaning there would be more than one. Then there were reports that popped up from respected journalists saying that they also had heard that there was going to be another Xbox, a less powerful one that would ship alongside the most powerful one. And some developers weren't too keen on the idea. They talked to some developers who were concerned that it might hold back the Xbox Series X and it would be harder for developers to have to worry about making two versions of a game, one for a higher end model and one for lower. Fast forward a year, and then Microsoft kind of stopped talking about consoles being plural. They started saying just console, and that console was the Xbox Series X, the next generation 12 teraflop machine. So then we started seeing headlines that Lockhart had been scrapped or pushed back, that maybe developers, had spoken up. Microsoft heard their concerns and they decided to just kind of do away with it or push it back down further in the line. But recently, over the last few weeks, Lockhart has shot back up in the news. There has been code uncovered that references the lower powered machine, and many journalists reporting that an announcement is indeed coming and is expected in August. The specs are reported as a 4 teraflop console that would use the same CPU as the Xbox Series X. It would also have an SSD and would be targeting 1080p 60 frames per second at minimum. But more on that in a minute and why I actually don't believe that. But for starters, you may say, Dragon, the Xbox One X is available today and it's 6 teraflops. So how is it that Microsoft is going to release a lower teraflop machine and still promote it as a next generation console and promote it as something being better than the Xbox One X? And the simple answer is, as many devs have already said, and as I've mentioned on Twitter multiple times, teraflops don't really tell you much at all. And most reviewers of graphics cards, they don't even bother mentioning teraflops because there's so much more to the story, and a system isn't just a GPU. And you also can't compare teraflops across different systems and different architectures. For instance, AMD has a GPU that has more teraflops than NVIDIA. Yet nobody will tell you that AMD has the best card out on the market. They may provide great value and that's all good and well, but everybody knows that NVIDIA has the top end cards as of the making of this video today. So that could change, but that's what it is. So even though the 2080 may have fewer teraflops, it outperforms it. So if teraflops were the end-all be-all, if that was the one magical number that made all the difference, then a higher number would always mean better. But as you see here, that's not the case. So you can't compare teraflops across different architectures. And a next-generation AMD GPU running RDNA 2 architecture running at 4 teraflops is going to outperform a RDNA card at 6 teraflops. And on the flip side, that also means that you just can't say Xbox Series X matches a 2080 based on teraflops alone, because again, they're completely different architectures. That's not to say that it can't come out and release on par or better or whatever else. It's just saying that you can't really get that information just by simply looking at teraflops. So I would expect a good upgrade over the Xbox One X, even if the teraflop number is lower. Furthermore, many have mentioned that Lockhart is going to be targeting 1080p 60 frames per second. And that may be the case natively speaking, but new technology like Microsoft's DirectML and NVIDIA's DLSS 2.0 are showing that native resolution is starting to mean less and less. And so they can take and use AI to take 1080p native and super sample it to 4K. And the result is a lot better than anything that you've seen so far as being able to upscale. Digital Foundry has confirmed that this helps games run better, so you're gonna get more frames, and the quality looks as good as a game rendered natively at 4K. Playground Studio has demonstrated DirectML on Forza, where they took a 1080p image and superscaled it to 4K. And the AI is able to fill in missing details. And so I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we saw games using this technology on Lockhart and they're able to display, maybe it is running 1080p natively, but they could display it at 4K or at the least 1440p, which most PC players would tell you is actually the sweet spot for gaming, where you get crisp visuals with no major hits to performance. So you get the looks and the frames. And whether it's upscaled or not doesn't really matter that much, again, whenever you're looking at these real world examples that are already available in certain games. And the technology is just gonna keep on improving. Native resolution is gonna be less important than ever this generation. And so that's not to say that PS5 is not going to have the technology as well, because AMD is working on their own, NVIDIA, Microsoft, everybody's working on this same sort of technology. Which leads us to the question of development. Will Lockhart hold back the Xbox Series X, because developers are going to have to develop games that will run on Lockhart? Here's what I would say. I would say Lockhart will hold back the Xbox Series X the same way that a 2060 holds back a 2080 Ti. The fact is that it doesn't. You can build the game for the best tech available and scale down, and I don't think it's going to be a problem. And there's already news coming out from developers that Microsoft has made it very easy for devs to scale down to work on Lockhart. So, does it make sense to release a Pro and a mainstream version of a console? Does it make sense for Apple to release an iPhone SE but still give users an option of an iPhone 11 Pro Max? Apparently so, they're doing it. They do it every year. So, yes, if Microsoft releases Lockhart and say that maybe Series X is $499, but you could pick up a Lockhart for $299, Lockhart isn't just going to sell, it's going to outsell the Xbox Series X. Just like the Xbox One S outsold the Xbox One X. So not everybody cares about having the very best in life. They don't need every bell and whistle. It's there for enthusiasts that want it, but it's why the 2080 Ti isn't the best-selling GPU. People are gonna go for value. And according to the research I could find as of 2018, 31% of households had a 4K TV. And so it's 2020, so that number I'm sure has risen some, but I doubt that it's far more than that. And a lot of people, even if they have a 4K in their house, maybe it's in the living room, doesn't necessarily mean that it's in your gaming room. Maybe you're younger and you play in your bedroom, or maybe you're playing down in mom and dad's basement. I don't know, but chances are a lot of people aren't going to have a 4K TV. And so why the need to buy the top end console if you can't even take advantage of it? So a ton of players are still on non-4K TVs, and a cheaper console is going to appeal to them, and it's also going to appeal to parents. So I think that you'll see them shut down the production of the Xbox One X, Xbox One S to keep things less confusing and offer you a premium experience for the enthusiast and a value box in the Lockhart model. And I think it's a smart move, and it's certainly going to help move consoles. It's just another option. And I think if you put down all the positives versus the negatives, the positives far outweigh the negatives. So post below, do you agree with me? Do you think that the Lockhart machine is going to be released, and will it outsell the Xbox Series X? That does it for me, the Red Dragon. Again, hit that like button. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.